When I start any painting, it's just shapes and lines. It's an indecipherable mess that to the outside viewer might just look like a piece any 5-year-old with decent hand-eye coordination could do. When I start any painting, other people don't see what I see. They don't see yet what I'm capable of or what it will become until it's almost done. When I put the brush or the spray can down, that's when they see what I saw all along and was patiently constructing using my plan. I've made art hundreds, if not thousands of times, and the process is always in some way the same. At first, it's nothing, and then it begins to take form. So, how does this relate to your art practice and life? Well, when it comes to creating purpose in our lives and with our art and deciding what to do with our gifts, we have to understand that life itself involves this same process. We decide what we want to create and accept that it's going to be a bit before it fully takes form into a fully realized piece. Fortunately, in this module, I'm going to break down that process for you in simple steps you can apply for the rest of your life. Whenever you find yourself stuck at a turning point or unsure what to do, I'm going to give you a very clear framework in this module to apply to organize your feelings, your thoughts, and get the outcome you'd like. There's an order to this, so let's begin. In this first video, as basic as it may seem, we need to clearly define what role we want art to play in our lives. Here's why. If you want to focus on your skill with art, do not care about money, and don't want to do any art except the ideas you have when you feel like doing them, deciding art is going to be your sole source of income might set you up for disappointment. If the description I just gave is how you want art to feel, I just explained a passionate hobby, not a professional pursuit. We act like hobbyist is this ugly word, but the truth is, none of the roles I'm about to describe are better or worse than the other. They're just different. Clearly understanding the realities of each role will help you select one to pursue that matches what you actually want to feel from your art. If you want to be a full-time artist because you think it feels like those first few sentences that I laid out, this is a misconception. When art is your job, you have to behave differently than if it is just something you do on your own time. If you're a business owner, you need to reliably provide value and service to a client base. You can't just do whatever you want, you're providing value to a group of people and need to be sure your work is providing that need, value, or service. If, say, you're a full-time graphic designer working for a company or a textile designer working for a brand, you have to create with the needs and demands of the company in mind. Being an artist is a real, serious career that is totally possible and can absolutely be profitable and profitable enough to support you. But you need to clearly understand the lifestyle and reality of each role that exists. So let's view the 3 examples. So the examples I laid out for you are art as a full-time pursuit, art as a second income or side business, and art as a passionate hobby. Let's start with the first one, art as a full-time pursuit. You can create art as your main career in so many different ways that it can feel overwhelming. So let's break it down into different ways you could do this. So first up, you can pursue a degree or certificate program for a specific job. Now, with school can get expensive, so using a university as a way to figure it out is not a good plan. This can be a costly mistake. It is best to go to school for a specific role that justifies the cost of the degree, and then once you get that job, you can always decide to move in another direction. This is about finishing something, so school doesn't have to equal mountains of debt if you do it towards a specific aim. Many art universities have short certificate programs or 2-year degrees that are also much more affordable. For example, in the New York area, the New School and SVA are just 2 of the many schools which offer short programs to learn specific skills, such as UX or UI design, where you have a workable portfolio at the end. As another example, FIT has an associate's program for surface pattern and textile design, and this entire program is designed for the students to build the specific portfolio and skills that gets them the jobs in this field. Also, research programs before you pursue them. These are just examples that I know from when I lived in the New York area, but know that whether in person or online, programs exist to help you reach your goal. There is an excellent article that I will link in the text of this little video blurb. You can scroll below the video to see it. And it's the Noah Bradley 10K Art School Education Alternative, I think. It's basically an article that this artist wrote where if you weren't to pursue art school due to the financial demands, that there are great online programs that can teach you really important professional skills. I'm a big proponent of art school, but I also think that it's not the best choice for everybody. So I would recommend his article as an alternative to art school, so that is below this video. Next, we're going to go into an apprenticeship program scenario. So this one is very straightforward. If you want to, say, pursue tattoo art, this is an example of a field where you apprentice under an existing professional according to guidelines determined by your state. So certain professions require an apprenticeship program. That's how you get into the job. So what I like about these first two examples is there's a clear structure. There is a clear end goal. You are pursuing a specific role, a specific job, and you are either training under a professional or you're in a accredited program. And what's really helpful with this is it's much easier to focus on your creativity and becoming the best artist you can be when you're surrounded by other people who have an interest in the arts, who are already working in an artistic field or are pursuing working in an artistic field. It's so helpful to have that kind of feedback, whether you are a student, whether you are an apprentice. It is really great to be in an environment with other artists. So I really love these first two examples. However, there's always another way to do things, and if you don't like school, if you're not interested in a field that a apprenticeship program is required for, then you could also do this third option. The third option is you have a part-time job. This job pays your bills, and you begin learning to sell your art online or in person. Now, understand with selling art, you need a demand for the products you're creating to support yourself sustainably. This can be through building interest for your work on social media and selling originals and prints. This can be making a specific type of art directed at a specific group, such as pet portraits. It may take trial and error, but this is how you go about this process. Now, I always recommend you take some type of online course or online mentorship program in art business or marketing, such as The Abundant Artist, for example, has a lot of free content where they interview artists who explain step by step how they built their businesses. That site also has paid courses. And I think that constantly educating yourself and learning from others in the online sphere is helpful for understanding what you can apply to your own online or in-person business. Maybe you're already doing one of these options, and that's great. Just understand that if this is your goal, you have this clearly defined full-time artist. Now, the next example of the role art can play in your life would be as a second income or side business. This is when you have a career that interests you and provides you with the lifestyle you want, which reliably pays your bills, and art is still very serious for you, but exists as a second income source. This is where you have goals related to your main career and intend to stay with this career, and you are pursuing your art reliably on the side. This can be a great option to make art for clients in a way that holds less stress than it being your only income source. You can also be much more selective with projects this way. The only thing here is that art and your main career need to exist in harmony. It isn't fair to your clients if the main job affects the work you do for them. So if this is your reality, make sure the project timelines you create for yourself accommodates any schedule demands the main job will ask from you. This way, if a client agrees to have a piece made, you know you will finish it as promised on time because you gave yourself the space to do so. Alright, so finally we have the role of hobby. Now, this simply means that your goals are related to purely the art itself. Your only goals are building skill in this area, the medium or mediums you've selected, or building no skills at all and just expressing yourself. You have no plans to monetize. You're not actively working to build a client base or market. You can share this with others if you choose, or you can keep the art just for you, but ultimately this is something you do for yourself, for your inner benefit. If you're a hobbyist, it doesn't mean you can't one day be a professional artist, and this doesn't mean you're not a real artist. Look, if you make art, you're an artist. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Deciding which role is best out of any of these options helps you create clear goals and expectations for yourself so that you can get a result that feels best. If you want to feel connected to your art, you need to take the time to define what you really want from it. Why take the joy out of what you really want to do with art if all you care about is expressing yourself and getting your emotions out? Why stress yourself out being a professional if you ultimately do just want a hobby? And why feel shame around this? Similarly, why get lost in skill building and hiding your work away when you want on a core level to get your art out there and learn to build a professional business? Clarifying the role you want your art to play and being honest about that with yourself is massive. Nobody else has to know this except you, or you can proclaim it to the world. It is totally your choice, but the act itself of defining the role that art is going to play in your life is massive. When you've defined a clear identity for who you want to be as an artist, then you are able to move forward and take the actions that can guide you to ultimately what you really want. So, my love, stop this video if you want to take notes or process anything that we talked about. You can go back to any part that you'd like, or whenever you're ready, we'll get right into the next part. If you'd like to download the video slides, I've included them as PDFs. You can find these by clicking the Video 1 Downloads button just below this video. It'll also have a little journal prompt that you can put in your journal or print out for a binder. I will see you in the next video.